How to breastfeed your baby. Welcome to the Hypno-Baby channel. I'm Dr. Natalie Fizet. I'm a retired family doctor who delivered 3,700 babies. This is your channel, so don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and be amazed. Of course, there's a big medical disclaimer. This channel is for entertainment only. You use it at your own risk. I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. All right, so baby's born. You did the first feeding within the first hour, and you were amazed how strong that little baby is. Like, really has a good suction, and you felt the contraction, like I was saying. And now you're going home, and as I was saying before, you're gonna hear contradicting. Okay. Breastfeed every hour, breastfeed every 4 hours, and this and that. And people are going to contradict themselves. Everybody has an opinion on breastfeeding, but nothing is proven. Follow your baby, follow yourself, okay? And when people give you advice, you just say, yeah, okay, thank you. And you just do whatever is right for you. But don't get upset. You're going to hear contradicting advice all the time. Like I might be saying something that the other video said the opposite. I'm fine with that. Okay. So the problem is usually when you get home, because at the hospital they have their routine, like, okay, we're going to take the vitals, time to breastfeed, and then everything. Don't forget to drink. You have to drink a lot of water because milk is a lot. Like I said, it's there's a lot of water in breast milk, so you have to drink a lot. Ideally, water. You can flavor it a bit if you don't like water. Trick yourself into something. Um, but always have your bottle next to you and drink, okay? Because the more you're gonna drink, the more you're gonna produce, that's for sure. So how often should you breastfeed? That's simple. Just follow your baby. So what they call breastfeeding on demand. But be careful. If baby had the choice, it would always be to your breast because you're soft, you smell good, and you have milk. So baby would fall asleep and then suck a little, and you're gonna rapidly see the difference between a baby who's sucking, like you can feel like really the suction, like this, or just like comforting himself like once in a while, leaving a little lick of the tongue. If you don't want to be a human pacifier, because most women, if they if and I've heard that so many times, like they said, Natalie, that the baby's always to my breast, I'm quitting. You don't want to quit, okay? And I've had 4 kids. I breastfed all 4 of them up to a year each. And for me, and I went back to work very fast after giving birth, and I was able to breastfeed. I'm going to tell you all the tricks to work and breastfeed, and it's doable. But for me, it was 10 minutes each breast, burp in the middle, a diaper was changed. So within half an hour, baby was fed, diaper was changed, baby was burped, and was back to sleep. So it would take me half an hour twice per night, and that's it. Okay. I know some of you are like, you're full of shit, but that's okay. I don't mind. But the more you're going to leave the baby on your breast, baby would live on your breast, honestly, because it's the best thing. You can give a pacifier, and I know I'm contradicting the World Health Organization and all that stuff, but if you look on ultrasounds when baby is in the womb, often they will suck their thumb. So they love sucking. It's a pleasure. It's a center of pleasure. They're not feeding on their thumb. There's nothing. There's no milk coming out of their thumb. They're just sucking for pleasure and comfort. Same thing, like I was explaining before, you're going to feel the difference when the baby is feeding. You're going to feel it's really like a pump. It's really like sucking. And when baby's just licking, it's just like give it a pacifier. That thing about the baby, the breast pacifier confusion. We've never seen a baby die like sucking on a pacifier, and not realizing, oh, I'm not being fed. And if you give a pacifier to your baby saying, okay, I don't think you want to breastfeed, and the baby's hungry, he's gonna spit it on you. which is true. So baby doesn't confuse pacifier with the breast, so it's okay to give a pacifier and it gives you a break. Okay. For the bad news, when you start breastfeeding, baby might have growth spurts, and it's usually like on day 3 when you go home and you're like, okay, it's been going well. I'm breastfeeding, I'm postpartum, everything. I have a beautiful baby. And you go home and the baby's screaming its head out. You're breastfeeding and it doesn't look satisfied. It's because baby is growing. And you have other growth spurts, and they all vary from babies to babies, but there's some like classical, and one is at 3 days when you go home, just to make you doubt yourself. The problem, and that's what I was saying, bad news, the problem is that baby gets hungry before you produce more. Like you don't get like um, an over milk production, like an overproduction of milk before the growth spurt. You get the growth spurt, baby sucks, 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 and then you get more milk. So there's a kind of a delay where you're gonna have to, rock the baby and drink, drink, drink. And at one point, you're gonna feel like your breast is gonna be like so big and so full, and then you're gonna be happy. If you're um, pumping milk, you always have to pump after baby has fed on both breasts and whatever is left. Don't pump before a feeding. So if baby has fed more than 2 hours before, don't extract your milk because baby might wake up like early and wants some milk, and oh, you just pumped it. And some people pump and give from the bottle and they prefer that, and that's fine. But again, we're mammals. We don't need, and there's like all kinds of things that women sometimes put on their breast, like a shield and all kinds of stuff. And that thing about the nipple being inverted, like the nipple is kind of inside, baby sucks it. So it gets, I've never seen, and I've had 3,700 patients that deliver their babies with me. Never seen a breast that doesn't come out when a baby sucks on it because it's really a powerful suction. Funny stories. My ex-husband at one point said, I'm curious. I want to see what it feels like to, breastfeed a baby." He puts the baby on his nipple, and he goes, "Get it out, get it out," because it's powerful. Okay, so that's a funny story here. Okay, listen carefully because this is the big takeaway from this video is that the first week of breastfeeding can be very hard. That's the challenge. And women quit in the first week. All the women that have to quit, they quit on the first week because it's like an uphill, I don't want to say battle, but it's an uphill climb. Okay. And then you don't see that past the peak of the mountain. It's a valley with unicorns and everything, meaning breastfeeding is fantastic. But the first week, that's where you're gonna doubt. That's where you're gonna have like the cracks, and if you have any kind of cracks or sometimes little I don't know how to say it, like scratches and stuff like that. Vitamin E, there's a lot of nipple cream that you can put on, and usually 60 watt. Take any kind of lamp that you have at home, put it 12 inches to your breast, and then you just like go to the beach. And if you did the Hypno-Baby course, you can go back and just relax and go back to your visualization, and just let the heat and the light will have the cream penetrate and heal everything. But again, leave your breast at open air. Close your blinds so the neighbors don't, begin. Neighbors are, but that helps a lot. I've seen a patient that came to my office and she had those breastfeeding compresses, and when she pulled it, the skin stayed in, and then she was bleeding like a big drop of blood, and I was, oh my God. So if you're gonna wear like milk, like breast milk compresses in your bra, make sure you put something like some cream or whatever so it doesn't stick with the milk on the skin, and then when you pull it, you could pull some skin. What they recommend, if ever you're blessed with a baby that sleeps almost through the night. Usually they sleep through the night at 2 to 3 months. And by the way, I've seen now recently it changed that they say babies sleep through the night at 6 months. So you're getting a rotten deal. I don't know how it changed, but um, in my good old days, and my kids are older, it was at 2 to 3 months. So I don't know why now they're saying 6 months. So it's doable to have your baby sleep through the night at 2 to 3 months. If you're breastfeeding, you have to know that you're going to have what they call cluster breastfeeding, meaning the baby will, you'll spend most probably your evening like feeding the baby almost every hour, and baby will be, and then you just breastfeed, breastfeed. You can see that, like I said, if you give the pacifier, it's going to throw it at you. And then you breastfeed, breastfeed, and then you get like a nice stretch of 6 to 8 hours. That's the phone. Sorry about that. So if you're in the lucky ones, the women that get a baby that sleeps longer during the night, um, there's a price to pay. Okay, nothing's free. So you're gonna see your baby might do what they call cluster feeding, meaning you might feel like you're spending your whole evening like feeding the baby because the baby might ask for your breast every 1 or 2 hours, and then you have to drink, drink, drink. Okay, again, have your bottle of water, and then they sleep for a longer period, like 6 or 8 hours. And by morning, you're gonna have another cluster feeding. That's the price to pay for that longer stretch, and it's a good thing for you because then you can go in REM sleep and you get so much refresh from deep sleep. So yes, just breastfeed your baby whenever he asks for that. If you feel you need more help for breastfeeding than just watching my stupid video, there's breastfeeding consultants. Sometimes you have to pay, and it could be steep because you might need more than one appointment. They sometimes come to the house, or sometimes it's by phone or Zoom or whatever. There's also a lot of community services like Leche's League. Leche means milk in Spanish. That usually you have a godmother that helps you, that you can have her on speed dial, and usually they pair you up with someone who has the similar condition as you do. Let's say you had a breast reduction and you want to breastfeed, you're going to be paired up with somebody who had a breast. You can ask for somebody who had a breast reduction. If you have twins, if you have a preemie, then you'll be paired up with somebody who successfully breastfed twins or preemies or preemie twins or whatever. Stress will diminish your milk production. Again, like I said, you can isolate yourself if you feel like the environment is stressing you out and your baby is also like jumpy. Just an anecdote, when I was, if you go back to work, I was pumping my milk and my babies was sleeping to the night. And as I was saying, they slept to the night at 2 to 3 months, no more than that. And like I said, you're getting a rotten deal by having babies. Now they say at 6 months that they sleep through the night. And I don't know how it slid like this, but you're getting a rotten deal. Keep the babies are not defective nowadays, so I don't know why they're saying that they sleep through the night at 6 months when they used to sleep through the night at 2 to 3 months. So take the 2 to 3 months and make it work. So, anyways, I was back to work, and my baby had breastfed and was sleeping for the night, and I said I don't have any more milk like frozen or anything, and I need to pump like middle of the night. And then I knew I was working in the morning, so kind of tired. So I said I'll pop up a movie, it will relax me, and then my milk will come. So I start to watch, and I remember to this day Cliffhanger by Sylvester Stallone. And I'm watching the intrigue, and at one point I'm getting tired, and I'm trying to pump, and I get like a drip of milk, and I'm like, I need 4 ounces at least, and I need like 8 ounces, and it's not coming. So I watched the movie, and I see the time, and I'm like, I won't have much time before I have to go to work and do my office and everything. So at one point, and I'm not into the movie at all. It's like 3 a.m. So at one point I remember standing in my kitchen and I start crying, like, postpartum, so I'm crying, and sure enough, my breasts start crying milk like crazy. So just by letting down, all my stress went out like in my tears, but the milk was like flowing. And then I felt like 8 ounces, and then I went to bed. I had a good nap before going to work. If you do work and you have someone taking care of your baby and you want to keep pumping, and it's possible, just like have a 30-minute break every 3 or 4 hours that you work, so once or twice during the day. And then if you have access to a fridge, just write a note and put it in a bag so nobody like judges you or plays with your milk or whatever. But that's possible. You have to keep it in the fridge after you pump it. But always, that's my trick. And like I said, I breastfed my 4 babies for a year, um, and I went back to work like as early as a couple of days after birth. I love working. It was not because I had to, it's because I wanted to. And then I would see my babies also, like I had irregular hours, so I would work during the night and I would see them all day long. So I'm not an absent mother, far from there. I saw my kids more than if I was working 9 to 5. Anyways, that I should not have to explain anything. So, anyways, my main point here is communicate with whoever is taking care of your baby. Because sometimes you might be in traffic and you might be like at the corner of the street. And if the person taking care of your baby has a baby that's screaming and is hungry, might they might give your baby a bottle of your pump milk, and then you're all like full of milk, and the baby is like, I just had my meal, so see you in 4 hours. So always communicate saying, okay, I'm coming, put the baby in the stroller, just walk around for give me 5 or 10 minutes, I'll be there. So communication is key. If the person doesn't know that you're coming, she will have to feed your baby because your baby is crying and everything. But if it's only a matter of a couple of minutes, and that saved me a lot. It happened to me more often than I can remember. So just calling my babysitter saying, I'm coming in 5 or 10 minutes. Don't feed the baby because I'm ready. I'm primed here. I'm full and I'm ready to to feed my baby. So that's a trick. Communication is key. Or sometimes saying, I'll be there in an hour, and then the babysitter can take a stroll with the baby, and baby welcomes you with open arms. Put your comments below if you have any trick to add about breastfeeding. So put your comments below. If you disagree with me, what do you disagree with, and how would you do it differently? Um, as you can see, I did not talk about miracle products. There's no miracle products. They did not exist 20 to 30 years ago. I sound old-fashioned, but I feel like women are spending a lot of money on stuff that are not proven efficient. And the miracle product is your baby. Your baby pumps very well. And also, if you're pumping milk, that's the last thing I'll say. If you're pumping milk and you feel like your freezer is full of milk, okay, um, don't worry. Once you stop breastfeeding, let's say at 6 months, or if you go back to work and you have a job that doesn't allow you to do both, and or you want to wean the baby, all that stock that you feel you have like enough to feed the whole nursery of the hospital, it will go away in a week, okay? Because babies take a lot of milk eventually. So don't throw it away. Some women will donate their breast milk. I okay, I said I was finished, but I'm not quite finished. I I always cringe when I see that a stranger came and the mother did not have breast milk, and the stranger came and breastfed the baby, and oh, that's so fantastic. There's diseases that can be transmitted through breast milk, and especially if it's a stranger, if it's not a member of your family, you have to be very, very, very careful. I would not have had any of my babies being breastfed by a stranger. No way. You're the parent here. You be the judge, but I as much as this could be a selfless act, it could also be a dangerous act. So as a doctor, I fringe when I hear those stories of a stranger jumping in to breastfeed the baby because the mother could not for some reason. There's diseases. Some diseases are transmitted through breast milk, and some are really serious. So I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye. I feel the need to make a big important PS. There's pressure to breastfeed, and I'm aware of that. And maybe it came out in my video that I was pro breastfeeding and you felt the pressure, and I'm sorry if I want to make clear that for me, breastfeeding is a woman's choice, a couple's choice, a family's choice, and nobody has to tell you if you have to breastfeed or not. It's your own choice, it's your body, of course. Again, little anecdote about this. I had a patient that walked into my office and said, Natalie, I don't want to breastfeed. I've thought it over. It's my decision. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then she wrote it in her birthing plan. And throughout the pregnancy, she repeated, I decided I don't want to breastfeed. And every time I said, no problem. Sure enough, she gives birth beautifully, everything goes fine. And then when I go for the postpartum visit to see her the next day after the birth, the nurse, who's like really a sweetheart and the most competent nurse I've seen, she goes, I have a surprise for you, Natalie. And I'm like, oh, okay, I love surprises. I walk into the room and my patient is breastfeeding. So we kind of eye lock and she's giving me the silent message. And I'm like, okay. So basically, she was kind of pressured into just try it, just try it. It's gonna be good for the baby. You just give it the colostrum. Oh, colostrum's good. Keep going, keep going. Of course, when she got home, she stopped breastfeeding, but then she had the milk let down and she had congestion and she had to wear the cabbage and the ice and all that stuff when you have breast engorgement from breastfeeding. So she was pressured into breastfeeding. So if it happens, if you choose not to breastfeed, and I think the best defense, the best response is you can say, "Are you pressuring me into breastfeeding?" And usually that person will back up. But there might be pressure as much as in the 60s it was like all bottle feeding, and now it's there's pressure, breastfeeding is the best, and oh, you're not breastfeeding, the guilt and all that stuff. And I'm sorry, I apologize for that. And it is your choice, it's your body, your choice. On the opposite, if you have breastfeeding brochures or little pamphlets they give you at the hospital, I have boycotted some of the pamphlets because they had advertisement for formula in there telling you, okay, it's good to breastfeed, has antibodies, and you should do this and that. But then there's formula right there. And as we were saying, breastfeeding the first week could be a challenge, and sometimes there's other challenges. And you have that ad that says, just take the bottle. It's right there on the page. So be aware of that and beware of that. If you choose to breastfeed, if you see that, in the booklets they give you whatever resources, and you see those ads of formula, and you're kind of, you know, put it in your conscious mind that, okay, it's there, I see it, and it won't like have a negative effect on your mind, let's say, because I'm all about the conscious and subconscious mind. Now, really, see you in the next video. Bye bye.